Excuse me, I'm asking if you put something up there again, it's going to cause a big problem.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we're going to be looking at a video of London, Hyde Park Speaker's Corner, where a Muslim man attempts to demand from police officers that a Christian woman stops speaking about Islam. He attempts to get her arrested. He says that, look, what she's doing is illegal, apparently, and the police should intervene. Yeah, it's interesting the kind of language he uses to try and get them to do this. And what's really interesting to me is the fact that he thought that this was something he could just demand, as if this is just how the UK works, that you can just go up to some police officers and say, I don't like that. That person should be arrested. And the police will be like, yeah, sure, why not? That's totally how this works. Fortunately, though, there is a happy ending to this story, somewhat. But let's go ahead and watch the clip.
Listen, everything has to be
You don't also have that,
nobody can take you to heaven except Jesus Christ as Lord, God, and Savior of the whole world. Jesus is not the prophet of Islam.
Muslims have done it before. You need to have a chat. Muslims have literally attacked her. That's
Bro, but they all attack each other here. You can't say one person. You can ask these guys, they'll tell
Jesus is not the prophet of Islam. Jesus Christ has nothing to do with Islam.
Excuse me, I'm asking if you put something up there again, it's going to cause a big problem. So rather than you do that, take it from now to remove that. I'll record it and I'll show it to the people as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk.
Yeah.
Please, definitely take it to one side.
Thank you very much.
Come on.
Yeah.
So right away you can see there's a Christian lady who is proclaiming her Christian faith at Speaker's Corner, which she has every right to do. There are more and more Christian speakers turning up to Speaker's Corner on pretty much a weekly basis, thanks to people like Bob of Speaker's Corner and the amazing work that the Christian apologists do at Speaker's Corner when having dialogues with Muslims. But this one particular Muslim chap had the nerve to say, because you got to boil down what is being said here. He says to the police officer, look, what she is saying is offensive, but if she doesn't stop that, there's gonna be a problem. And you see, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's being said there. If you say to someone, look, if someone doesn't stop something, there's gonna be a problem. What does that mean? Like, what are you saying there? There's gonna be a problem. Do you think he means like logic puzzles? Do you think he means if this woman keeps preaching and keeps talking about Christianity and Islam, I'm going to suddenly forget how to get home. I'm going to lose my car keys if she doesn't stop. That's the kind of problem I'm going to have. You know, I'm going to go home and my wife's going to be upset with me if this Christian woman doesn't stop preaching. No, somehow I think that that's not what he's talking about. I think it's a very subtle form of threat. And I think it's disgusting that you can do that to a police officer. You can basically just threaten them into, I'm going to potentially do something. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but you know, it might be a problem if you don't arrest the person I like for all the naughty words. Notice as well, nothing she said was actually offensive. Now, don't get me wrong, I think she would have been critiquing Muhammad, and she does go on to critique Muhammad in this video, but it's not as if all she's doing is that. She's also proclaiming her faith and why her faith is important to not just her, but to her family, to her church, to her culture, to her society, to her community. It is the strength that she has to go out and do this, instead of just staying at home and watching YouTube videos. So now the police officer's about to take her aside and give her a quick talking to about what she's saying. So let's see how that goes.
Phone to be marked up.
I want them to know the truth.
It's just I know, but it's your choice of language.
What language?
Your choice of words. It's like you are being deliberately provocative. Okay. I know we can express views here. There
I
are
can
limits.
preach the Bible.
Sorry?
Preach Bible. I can preach about the Bible though.
Of course you can.
Okay, I will do that.
Can.
I will only do that.
Do that.
Yeah.
What are these signs?
What are these signs? I genuinely think that the police officer's hoping that when she shows him the signs that she's holding, it's going to say something like, I am in violation of the hate speech laws of da-da-da-da-da, act da-da-da-da-da, please arrest me. But no, it's not going to be that. So he's going to have to do some investigative work to see whether or not she is a potential threat to the 5'10" Muslim man standing next to her, or if she really is just a Christian who is proclaiming her own faith and doing so boldly.
The signs are that Jesus has nothing to do with Islam. Jesus is not the prophet of Islam. Jesus is not the prophet of Islam. Yeah.
What's on the other side?
Allah of Islam is devil according to the Bible.
Free speech.
According to my Bible, Allah is the devil.
No.
So if they think, let
She's
them
not
think.
going to get rid of
If
it.
they think,
She's not going to get rid of
according
it.
to my Bible, Allah is the devil.
Yeah, but it's not illegal though.
No, it is illegal because you can't
Not
just
illegal.
Based on what?
This
This
is
is Speaker's Corner.
It's not illegal.
Speaker's Corner here.
Officer, it's not illegal to say that.
I'm not talking about that. I know you already. You lie too much.
Yeah, but this guy says illegal. It's not illegal. That's bullcrap.
Well, if it's illegal, then you should
Wait,
stop.
how is it
You should
illegal
stop
to-
speaking
for the
about
people to
Jesus
think
as
about
well.
illegal? It's not illegal. The police are right there.
You should have
The
words with
police are
that
like
guy.
inches away.
By that logic, the Quran is illegal because they defame Isa.
Yeah. Well,
Come on, man.
how can he say it's illegal in front of police officers? He's out of his nuts.
Your turn.
You must hate coming out.
Your turn, 5 minutes away from the madhouse.
I'm tempted. Come on, mate.
Do you see the audacity there? The very Muslim guy that they wanted to get the Christian woman away from because he was making this complaint that it's about to be a problem if she doesn't stop. That man follows and then proceeds to try to instruct the police officers that what she's doing is illegal. He is obviously an expert. He is a well-qualified solicitor in criminal law. He's got a degree, obviously, from a top university. He went to Oxford, got his PhD, and he's putting it to good use by having Christian ladies half his size potentially taken away because they had something to say negatively about Muhammad. But what I really enjoy is there are lots of Christian brothers here. I happen to know them. They immediately pipe up and they're around the police. And there's like 3 police officers here, which is odd. I don't know why you need 3 in this specific place, but hey. And they all stick up and they all say, look, this is free speech. She has every right to say this. And then you have another Christian brother come in and say, well, hang on a second. If what she's saying is wrong and is hateful, then you would have to look at the Quran objectively and say the Quran objectively is also hateful. And I think the dynamics change in those last parts of the video, where instead of just this very assertive and very confident Muslim voice trying to say this is illegal, you need to do something about this, instead you get Christians coming together and saying, no, this is free speech, she has every right to do this. And they just laugh at the idea that she couldn't do this. And that kind of brought the tensions down. And I think the police officers realized, oh yeah, this is dumb. This is obviously dumb. Obviously she can say these things. Obviously her signs are not some sort of are not going to inspire the next crusade. Like this is just a woman professing her beliefs, doing so confidently, critiquing Muhammad confidently in a biblical way. And the Christians around her support her, and they laugh and they ridicule people who are actively trying to subvert that in ways that are not legal, suggesting there could be a problem, whatever that means. You'll also notice one of the Dawah guys, this guy is a Muslim cameraman. He follows and records for Dawah channels, Islamic channels that try to promote Islam. He's recording this, wondering that if something's going to happen, but then when he realizes that his brother in faith has been shot down by all the Christians around him and the police are not siding with him at all, he stops recording and he goes away, because that's how easy it was to defeat. What can we learn from this? Very simple. Islam is a quite weak religion. It doesn't have strong intellectual roots, nor does it have strong historical roots. It is ultimately based on opinions by a man called Muhammad, who, like other cults, like Mormonism for example, with Joseph Smith, received revelation long after Jesus and then tried to backtrack that onto Jesus to change fundamentally what he taught and what he did. But they have one thing going for them, which is that they have large organized communities, whereas Christians are often unorganized. We don't come together, we don't have fellowship, we don't have a community around us that can actively oppose this. But watch what happens when there are Christians of one mind coming together in one place. It disarms it completely. Islam is completely disarmed. It can't go anywhere. Imagine what would happen if those Christians weren't there. Instead it was just more of that Muslim guy's friends, all shouting at that police officer that what she's doing is legal and there could be a problem if they don't do anything about it. What do you think the police would do? I can guarantee you now, partly because of just how many videos and clips I've seen online of this happening, but also of first-hand experience at Speaker's Corner, they would have removed that Christian woman immediately. And they would have done so with the understanding that it's best for her. And that's a minimum. At worst, she would have potentially been charged with hate speech. The irony, of course, is that as Islam fails the test of England's hate speech laws, immediately there are many verses in the Quran and in the Hadith, which is the Islamic narrations that Muhammad supposedly said, that would fail that test every day, every time you look at it. But the police aren't really interested in that. These are the terrible times that we live in. And they won't change until enough people get together and say, this isn't right. We actually, as a group, not as an individual, as a group, find this to be offensive to us. We, as a group, do not want this, and we will make our voices heard. Not in the way that Muslims would potentially do so if that guy got his way, but in a way that is legal, in a way that is effective. One of the reasons that we, as a nation, struggle to combat the influence of Islam is largely because we just don't have communities. We don't have organized groups that have the willingness and the backbone to go out and to proclaim and make it known that we will not accept this. Muslims do have that. Even though it's terrible, their ideas are terrible, pretty much everyone agrees their ideas are terrible, even Muslims are pretty skeptical of their own ideas. Doesn't matter, they have a group, you don't have a group. So who wins? Only the Christians have the backbone and the courage to do this. You look at Speaker's Corner, you look at the most vocal speakers, and who will you find? You'll find people that actively live out the faith. They let the faith transform them, their lives. They form groups, communities. They have fellowship together. They make it their life. And then they use that as a strength to go out and combat Islam. Without having a group, without having a sense of identity, it becomes that meme of the atheist who, you know, the radical atheist who he doesn't do anything. He just sits in the pub. And you know what? That's great. Everyone likes going to the pub. It's just, you're not going to change anything. And people who are organized will keep beating you every time, at every level. Whether it's political, whether it's cultural, you won't have a leg to stand on because you're not willing to actually make your voice heard. Have a sense of identity. Stop just being an individual. Start being part of something bigger and something life-transforming. It's in Christ that we have that identity, and it's in Christ that we have the courage to speak out and to oppose Islam. Without that, Islam will just walk over you. But good thing we have the answer. Christ is the answer. And I'm going to show you the last part of this clip. One of my friends at Speaker's Corner who was recording this guy managed to get this final clip of him losing his temper just a little bit. So let's watch.
This guy here.
The whole Hyde Park, you can go anywhere you like and you won't have any of the Speaker's Corner. So move away from Speaker's Corner and you'll be fine.
Well, that was nice of him. I'm sure the guy's a lovely chap and an absolute pleasure to have around at dinner parties. Just don't mention his beloved Islam, otherwise he may be a problem for you. But anyway, ladies and gents, thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions about the Christian faith, my email is chris@speakerscorner@gmail.com. You can find it down below in the description box, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. But I wish you all a great day. God bless you all. I hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year's, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.